Munchies, one question I get often regarding weight loss is calories. How many should I be eating? Well, today I'm gonna provide some information to help you determine what that number may be for yourself for both weight maintenance and weight loss goals. So, how many calories do you need in a day? Tracking calories can be helpful to some, but to some people it's just anxiety inducing and stressful. I have been on both sides before, and I really believe that a healthy lifestyle and weight loss can be achieved without counting calories. But if you choose to track or just want the knowledge so you have it, because after all, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health, I'm gonna show you how to calculate your calorie needs for yourself today. To start, everyone needs a certain amount of calories. That number will vary from person to person based on a gazillion factors: age, size, genetics, lifestyle, activity level, health history, etc. Literally every person will be different. Even if two people are the exact same height, weight, sex, age, they will still need a different amount of calories. So how do you know what you need? Your basal metabolic rate, or BMR, is an estimate of the amount of energy or calories that your body expends at rest over the course of the day. You might also see it referred to as REE, or resting energy expenditure. So if you did nothing at all for 24 hours, nothing, no eating, no walking, no moving, whatever, your BMR is the minimum amount of calories that's needed to keep your body's organs and systems functioning. There are a few different formulas to do the calculations I'm sharing today, and it's definitely not an exact science, but the Mifflin-St. Jeor formula tends to be the most widely accepted for BMR, and I will link a BMR calculator below. That way you can just plug in your information to get the number rather than doing the math on paper. So let's say Jill is 150 pounds, 5 foot 5 inches, 30 years old, and female. Her BMR is 1401. That means she needs at least 1,401 calories per day just to function without accounting for any movement, activity, etc., right? Well, hypothetically, yes, that is what it should mean, but remember, we're all different, and this calculator doesn't take into account Jill's health history, her diet history, her genetics, etc. So this number is really just a guesstimate, but we can use it as a starting point, because when it comes to the wacky world of macros, you're gonna see that it's a lot of trial and error. But for the sake of teaching the process here, we're just gonna move forward with it. After you have your BMR, the next step is to figure out how many total calories you need, accounting for an estimate of your activity level, also known as your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. So on screen, I've listed the standard values of different activity levels that are used in the formula. 1.2 sedentary, 1.375 is light activity, 1.55 moderate activity, 1.725 very active, and 1.9 extremely active. Your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure, is your BMR multiplied by your activity level. So that is meant to represent the energy or calories that your body burns at rest and accounts for how active you are in order to give you a guesstimate of the calories that you burn in an average day. Now, there are a few problems with this. One, the numerical values for each of these activity levels will vary based on where you look, and it's very subjective, which leads to problem number 2. Most people won't accurately guesstimate their activity level. People tend to be overly generous with their choice. So I recommend choosing the level that's below what you think you are, and there are variables beyond that too. So remember, Jane might be the exact same stats as June, but each of their bodies will burn calories differently with exercise and activity, so it's not an exact science. Unless you're a training athlete, I'd say it probably wouldn't be appropriate to mark extremely active or even very active. I don't say that to insult anyone who works out a lot. You just have to recognize that this calculation is going to determine the amount of calories you eat. So if you overestimate the activity level, your final number of daily calories will be higher than you actually need to achieve your goal, which probably means you won't see much progress. So let's say that Jill exercises about 4 times a week for 30 minutes, and she has a desk job, so she doesn't move much other than that. She thinks her activity level is moderate, but we'll mark it light to be safe. Better to underestimate than overestimate. So the ultimate equation is Jill's BMR, which is 1401, let's just say 1400 for math's sake, multiplied by 1.375, meaning light activity level. We end up with 1925 calories. So this is Jill's total daily energy expenditure, the amount of calories needed to maintain her current weight, accounting for her activity level. If Jill's goal were to lose weight, she would want to eat less than her maintenance level of calories. If she wanted to gain weight, she would want to eat more than this. If she's happy with where she's at, she can aim for that number, sort of. So keep this in mind, it's not an exact science. This number may be way too high or even too low for Jill, and the only way to know is trial and error. For instance, if Jill has been eating significantly less than around 1900 calories for an extended period of time, her body may have adjusted to eating less, and that means that eating 1900 calories may actually cause her to gain weight because she's lowered her body's baseline needs. Or if she typically eats a lot more than 1900 calories but hasn't been continuing to gain weight, she may have trained her body to that higher number, and 1900 may be enough for weight loss. It depends on each individual person. Also, there are macro calculators online that will do this for you too, but you'll probably find that different ones are giving you different numbers for your TDEE. And the reason for that is that they probably have slightly different numbers plugged in for activity level options. Just keep that in mind. If Jill did happen to match with this exact calculation, which most people won't, but for the sake of educating here, if Jill did actually need 1,925 calories, how much less does she need to eat if her goal is weight loss? Well, it depends on how quickly she wants to lose weight. Most nutritionists suggest losing between a half a pound and 2 pounds per week. I know for a lot of people that feels too slow and discouraging, but any faster than that and the weight probably just isn't gonna stay off once it's lost. So if you can find the discipline to go a little bit slower, then that will help you maintain your weight loss in the long run. 1 pound of body fat is around 3,500 calories. So if you wanna lose 1 pound per week, you've gotta consume 3,500 calories less per week, or about 500 calories less per day. So Jill's maintenance calories would be 1925. But if she wants to aim to lose 1 pound per week, she would need to eat 1,425 calories, so she has a calorie deficit. If she wanted to lose 2 pounds per week, she'd need to knock off 1,000 calories per day, bringing her to only 925 calories. Now that is pretty low. I would guess that Jill is gonna end up hungry, and then the plan won't really be sustainable long term. Plus, Jill risks damaging her metabolism by eating at such an extreme deficit for an extended period of time. So that's another reason we keep the weight loss slow. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that eating too little or too much for a day or two is gonna hurt you, but long term, our bodies will adapt to what we do regularly. But now you at least know the science behind calculating out the caloric needs. So is it an exact science? No. Are those numbers written in stone? Definitely not, but it's a starting point. So if that number helps you on your journey, great. If it doesn't help, then don't worry about it. I don't think it's necessary to track everything we eat to be healthy or even to lose weight. I always encourage people to focus on whole foods and eliminating processed foods as much as possible rather than focusing on calories. Plus, I really believe the quality of food matters far more than the quantity, and there are other factors at play when it comes to weight loss, like hormones. But knowledge is power, and learning how calories and macros works is only going to help you make some more informed decisions whether you count calories or not. You guys, I have a special announcement. So a lot of you know my friend Sarah Lynn from the channel The Domestic Geek. We have collaborated many a times. You guys always love when we're together. We have decided to start a YouTube channel together. We have a new series called Friday Night Supper Club. Pretty much we get together on a Friday night, we make a really challenging recipe, and we drink some adult beverages, which is very different from this channel. It's so much fun. The first episode went live today. So in the description, you'll find a link for the new channel and social media information. Subscribe, watch the new video, let us know what you think. We're so excited to share it. Every Thursday, we will have a new episode. If you have an interest in taking this a step further and learning about how to calculate macros and macro ratios, leave me a comment and let me know. Maybe I can do a video on that too. I'll see you next week, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.